It's the opening night and they're lighting the lights. The orchestra is tuning to make sure they sound right. It's time to start our show tonight.
Well, my name's Tom McLennan and I'm directing the Joe Hill Dream, and I'm also acting in it as well. We're at Valley Theatre, who have very kindly agreed to let us rehearse here. It's going great, yeah. They're starting to get a bit of emotion into the acting, and they're starting to feel comfortable with the changes and the props. So yeah, it's starting to look good. Well, I've always been interested in socialist theatre and agitprop and street theatre, political, radical theatre. It tends to be kind of message-based. There's a political message behind a lot of the action. Although that doesn't make it boring. A lot of people think that, oh, you know, it's going to be heavy, this. But there's a lot of humour in this play and a lot of good drama. So it is good. It's a good play to come and see.
I nearly never made it then. I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you or me. Says I, but Joe, you're a century dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he. In Salt Lake City, Joe, says I, him standing by my bed. They framed you on a murder charge, says Joe, but I ain't dead. Says Joe, but I ain't dead.
I'm John Lipton. I'm one of the singers in the piece in the Starvation Army. The writer John Fay is a friend of mine, and I've worked on a few pieces of his before with Kirby Response Theatre, and he asked me to be involved with others. Songs from Joe Hill were written to existing tunes of the time, popular tunes of the time, and the message that was relayed in the lyrics is kind of ironic comment, I suppose, or political voice. The style of the piece is very kind of, in some parts, cartoon-like, the Western side of style, and the songs at different points will kind of underline the various messages within the piece. There'll be a core group of about 14 singers or so, some of whom will do all of the shows, but not everyone. And the group is comprised of some members of the Liverpool Socialist Singers, some members of Liverpool LGBT Choir, and all of us who know either the writer or the MD, Debbie O'Brien.
My name is Kate McAuliffe, and I'm an actor. And there's a scene at the beginning when the actors explain to each other and the audience that they're going to slip in and out of gender, in and out of character. It fits. It fits beautifully with the piece.
It's time, Joe. No! I don't want to die!
Come on now.
I'm innocent! You can't do this to me!
Why not?
I'm the hero! Yeah, I can't die yet! This is only the first scene!
Hey, don't worry. Before you get shot, we see the last 2 years of your life flash before our eyes.
I think there's a bit of me in all of the characters that I play. The first character is Axel Steele. Axel Steele is really a hard man, and he's a manipulator, he's dishonest, and he steers much of the action. Also played Dr. McHugh, was the person to whom Joe went, the doctor to whom Joe went when he'd been shot in the chest. I also play the secretary. Personal private secretary to the president.
They're a terrorist organisation, a menace to public order.
Oh, I'm with you on that one, Axel. It's just that as soon as us not do something that could be construed as illegal.
I understand, Sheriff. Leave it to me.
Unless, of course, them wobblies get out of hand. And in which case, me and my deputies will be down on them like a ton of buffalo shit. Ain't that right, deputy?
Yep.
Well, we sure appreciate that, Sheriff. Don't we, boys?
Yep.
My name's Arthur Adlin, and I'm the organiser of the whole event. Joe Hill was Swedish. His real name was Joel Haglund. In 1902, he left Sweden and went to New York, very likely through Liverpool, so there's another connection for us. And he worked his way across America as an itinerant labourer. And in 1910 he joined the Wobblies, which was the International Workers of the World, and they were nicknamed the Wobblies. In 1913 he was working in the Silver King mine as a labourer, and in 1914 he got caught up in this murder of John Morrison and his son Arling. Morrison was a grocer in Salt Lake City, and he was a former policeman, and one of the theories was that it was somebody who he'd arrested previously getting revenge.
We all play bits and pieces. It's Brechtian in its style, so we all sort of pop in and out of role.
The bullet emerged.
Aye.
No bullet was found in the defendant's body.
No.
So the bullet in question would be found somewhere in the vicinity of the spot where he was wounded.
Presumably.
And yet no such bullet has ever been found in John Morrison's store.
I suppose if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Axel Steel. Axel gives me the opportunity to show a bit of range as an actor, and that's important. The message for me is that not an awful lot has changed, and we are still experiencing manipulation by government, manipulation by authority. There are a lot of lies told about, you know, things that are happening currently, people. So I think that the story is universal. I don't think it's dated at all. And power to John Fay, who's the writer, because you can say anything you like as long as it's funny. And much of this is funny. Not all. There are some terribly serious pieces that will make you cry, tear your heart apart. But yeah, you can say what you like when it's funny, and John's made quite a lot of this funny.
Any questions?
Yeah, how come we gotta talk in these goddamn stupid accents?
Well, Slim, I guess we've just been made fun of.
Yep.
The only evidence against Hill was the fact that he had a red bandana in his room, and the two men who attacked Morrison wore red bandanas. Everything else was circumstantial. In fact, Morrison's other two sons, when they saw Joe Hill, said that's not him at all, so they didn't think it was him. And of course he wouldn't give any further explanation of his alibi, because apparently he'd been having an affair with a woman and he wouldn't give her name. So in 1915, in November, he was executed by firing squad. And I think certainly today we can realise that we're facing the same kind of fight. The government's anti-trade union bill that's going through Parliament at the moment is as draconian as any of the laws that the Wobblies were fighting against. So nothing changes really. We've got a big day on at the Adelphi on the 21st of November with lots of songs, poetry, a big discussion about the lessons to be learned from that style of campaigning. And then in the evening we've got a big gig, just bands and singers.
Done stuff before in different pieces that we've done. Just enjoy the process and happy to get involved. I work for a bank, as it turns out, yeah, so my daytime job is far removed from this. No singing in the bank. Just the chance to be involved in a group, with a group of people, like-minded people, to get the message out there, the issues and concerns of people 100 years ago when Joe Hill was alive are still not really gone away, and that it's as more important as now as ever to be involved, and particularly in the light of the trade union bill that's going through Parliament at the moment. So it's another way of being involved and having a voice.
You get pie in the sky when you die. Now the Starvation Army they play. They sing and they clap and they pray till they get all your coin on the drum. Then they'll tell you when you're on the bum, you will eat by and by in that glorious land above the sky. Work and pray, live on hay, you'll get pie in the sky when you die. Holy rollers and jumpers come out, they holler and jump and they shout.
That was a song written by Joe Hill. You can buy it and others like it from fellow worker Otto Applequist over here.
Yeah, John Fay, the writer, is a well-known Liverpool writer. He wrote for Brookside and Coronation Street, and he's had plays on at the Playhouse and that type of thing. So he's a good, well-known writer. He doesn't write scripts that won't interest people, and he gets a lot of, you know, Liverpool humour in there as well as just general drama. And the play bounces along. It's not the kind of, it's not a tract that you're going to sit there and feel the weight of your watch as you're watching it. It does bounce along and keeps you going plot-wise. We've got 5 performances. We're here at the Valley Theatre on Wednesday the 18th of November. We're at the Brindley Theatre in Runcorn Thursday 19th. We're doing the Adelphi, which is part of the bigger celebration, on Saturday the 21st of November. We're at Salford Arts Theatre on Friday the 27th, and then we finish at the Lantern Theatre in Liverpool on Saturday the 28th. And you can get tickets just the usual way by getting in touch with the theatres, and you know, they'll get you tickets.
I'm the director of Are We There Yet? And I'm the narrator character who instigates the journey for the characters.
So On The Verge is happening all across Liverpool. It's performances, unusual spaces, emerging artists. We've got stuff in an office, stuff popping up all around the city, Liverpool 1, Central Station, Central Library.
I'm mischievous, much like some children I have met from time to time.
And I'm Mel, and I'm one of the performers in it, and I play like a wussy me, a monster and an explorer.
Wow.
You were stomping around and chattering, and we have followed you. We cannot talk to you for fear of the monster. He is huge and scary and has squashed our homes, and we do not wish to be squashed too. Are you looking for such a monster? Yeah? Yeah? And they ask, would we help them to stop the monster hurting them?
I think we need to be nice and loud so they can all hear us.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3.
Yeah! So today was a preview, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So what was that like? Talking to adults like they were kids?
Weird! Feels a bit patronising.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good though because they all really went for it.
Yeah.
It is going to be very different when we have kids there. But it's nice to see how different the reactions can be, and feel very realistic in how silly you can be when you're that age.
Yeah. Even though they were adults, they gave some very good childlike answers, and I think replicated some child behaviour.
And I also think like elements of the set really encourage like a childlike sense of wonder. You know, the things you don't anticipate being in an office. So it was nice to see their faces and see that they were enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are still a few kinks that need working out, but.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So, set. It actually doesn't matter for now or after.
Is the light on behind there?
This isn't on. There's one thing here isn't on.
Shoes off underneath.
How are you all doing? Well? Yeah? Do you know why you're here today? No, that's fine. Boys and girls, you can sit wherever you want, but I want you to show me how nicely you can sit, okay? This is one of those, I need to see how grown up you can be.
Yeah, I feel much better about it now, I think.
It's just that reassurance that you can do it.
Yeah, and I think having a big group of people, because up until now, I think the most have done it in front of is 3 people. So to actually have a big group and understand how they're going to move from space to space, and it actually isn't as terrifying as you think, and it's doable.
I think especially because this office is so huge.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything in here when we first moved in, so it was a little bit scary to think you have to create a world here. But when you fill it with people, it feels like quite, you know, it doesn't feel too big, which was really important to us.
Yeah.
Especially when there's no children, they're all grown-ups.
So after all the work you've been over the last couple, it's been quite fulfilling, really, and rewarding, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. It's really been worth doing. We were very lucky in that we got we crowdfunded the show, and we got private funding and Arts Council England grants for the arts funding. So although we've had to make a few concessions, generally this show is exactly what we wanted it to be, which is something quite unusual for us to not have to make those, you know, concessions.
It's okay, everyone. Don't worry. We're going to find him. But how do you think we can find a monster? Can anyone think of a way?
Yes.
That's a trap. Exactly. That's a great idea. We might keep that in mind for later.
My name is Danielle Edwards. I'm an artist. I'm doing a one-to-one piece in a car about a young woman's journey through life, which is nice.
I'm Bethany Ryle, and I'm volunteering for the On The Verge.
Yeah. I think I know where it is, so will you follow me? Yeah. But you've got to keep walking like you're really, really brave. Okay, everyone, we're walking.
It's really useful to get that feedback.
Really good.
Because we've taken snippets into schools, and those school groups are coming to see the show, which is really fun and lovely. But the kids are at such an age where the feedback they're giving is really specific, so that's great. So we end up cutting out a few things which weren't suitable for our age range. But then with this, it's very specific artistic stuff, which is harder to get from a 5-year-old.
No grown-ups allowed. Do you think they'll let us in? We're going to say yes to this show.
Yeah.
Well, this is the humanities. Let's move in so everyone can see. Let's not go in yet. I just want to make a decision.
No grown-ups.
No grown-ups allowed. Do you think they'll let us in? We make a decision every show based on how the kids are reacting.
I think it's when you got to sit on the big cushions. It was really sweet.
And the colours they used as well. It kind of transported you back to childhood, I think.
Yeah. So what was the overall verdict of the show and this work?
I thought it was lovely. I thought it was really sweet and really cute, but also for adults getting immersed into something that's very childlike and fairy tale-esque.
I think the way that they made the children work together, or like they're going to make the children work together, was really good. Immersive is going to work really well for children anyway, because they're like, they want to go on the journey.
I'm really excited to actually do it when we actually have the kids, to see the experience that they get from it and to see their excitement, hopefully. So I think that'll really bring it. And even like when we were downstairs there, just when you were getting changed, and somebody said it'll be a really special experience, I think, for young people, and something that they won't have had before, which if that'll be lovely if that is the case.
Yeah, that's
really
kind of the aim.
So
there isn't a lot of kids theatre like this. Really well-selling kids theatre is very, you know, Disney on Ice and Frozen themed, and that's great, and I can really see why that's engaging. But what we're trying to do here is do a mixture of the kind of drama workshop, which we get paid to do in schools, but in a artistic setting, which means you're part of a narrative, and you get to feel the things. It's much more visceral. And I hope over the next few days we see that we've achieved that. Yeah. Fingers crossed. Yeah, definitely.
It's the kind of thing I wish that I had more of when I was a kid, and the more things you could go to where you become completely immersed in a little fairy tale world. Yeah, you did things like story time, but you know, at a typical school environment, you won't get to go on the adventure with your classmates, so you see what really soon.
Cool. And what's your favourite part of it?
Probably this little area we're in now, the little fairy land, just because I thought it was really picturesque and cute, and considering the space that we're in as well.
I'm Sophie, and I'm Kate Treadwell.
Great, and sure.
So I directed the piece that for Monday, that Sophie just is the solo performer in. Yeah, it was collaborative, both together. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously it goes through the whole of Monday. So, what really influenced the whole performance?
I think it was the fact. I think we were in a place where we just had so much that we wanted to do with life and kind of juggling so many things and wanted to make the most out of everything. So wanted to kind of look at this interesting take on trying to juggle lots and lots of things, but doing everything to the best of your ability rather than seeing it as a negative thing, because it should be celebrated.
Next year, our next thing is the 2016 Emerging Artists Programme. So that's our next big thing on the horizon for next year.
Brilliant. That's with Hope Street.
Yeah. That's for sure.
And so if people want to find out about that one, they just go to your website.
That's right, hope-street.org.
Brilliant. That's good. So people should look out for that.
Yeah, definitely. If you're into getting into theatre and performance, it's a great way to start.